This has been a hell of a morning. 5 hours trying to calibrate these parts. So I have this guy here. All right. First of all, none of the gauges were working, and I didn't understand how they worked. In a certain sense. And sometimes you gotta call up the manufacturer, and sometimes they're snippy with you, especially if you get snippy with them. But I think we got there. Ultimately, if they made the sending units that they made with push-on connectors, then it's easy to pull them off and check them. I tried grounding them and it didn't go up. So I put this on and the volts went up, but these two guys didn't move at all. They just went up a little bit. You can see they go, and they go, telling me that they're ready and they're actually wired right. Now, initially that didn't go all the way to full. It's mainly because I don't have anything hooked up to it right now. I mean, I technically do, but it's through this unit here, which was funny because through the other unit, it would not, I don't know, see the 3 buttons here? And this one has 5 buttons. The 5 buttons calibrates it at every level, E, quarter, half, 3/4, and full. So, what does that mean? That means you have better, overall, points. They say the microprocessor figures it out in between, and that's a bunch of bullshit. But then again, in the end, I had the same problem with the guy who made this. This is the Dolphin one, and it has 5, so it's better in that sense. And he's like, they work flawless. It doesn't matter what you got. Because he gives you this, but I was sold the wrong gas tank, really, but I made it fit. And he said he has an adapter for this, which I didn't even know existed. But even this guy, when you hook it up, it's a 0 to 90, and if you pull all the way to full, it doesn't hit full. It's just like one thickness of the needle off full. And when you go all the way to E, it's kind of like just on E. I like the gauges to be able to be calibrated like on a regular car. I like to fill it up, and I like to know that it's full, and it goes past F. And then if it doesn't do that, then same thing with the empty. I want to be able to, not that you have to put, there was some cars you could put $5 in and it'll go up to empty, but I mean, this is a long time ago. Less likely to happen now with the gas prices. But in any case, that's not unheard of, though. Like if you're putting $5 in, it'll be a gallon and a half. At least you have something. At least if you're on E, you have to look for a gas station at that point. It's one of those things I'm particular about. Now, been having a hard time figuring this out, and it's mainly because of this thing here. And this is going to be the final test because I opened it up and fixed the connections on it because it really doesn't connect very well. It was very, very choppy, and he told me that if it's choppy, you have a bad ground. Well, I'm using 2 vice grips to put it on a 10 gauge wire. I mean, I don't think the feed wire has to be more than 16 gauge. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And obviously I have my setup here, so I don't have to go in the back. And I had this long red wire run from over there. So just to avoid any issues with that, I did it like this, just to satisfy the guy, And now what I did do is I hooked up this one with his unit. And granted, like this is backwards, like if the gauges work from 0 to 90, which they do, this one is like opposite. It goes from like, I don't know, 75 to 4, something like that. So it's kind of shitty. And like I'm saying, I'm saying like full, instead of full being 90, full is closer to 0. So, but he said it doesn't matter. This thing's supposed to figure it all out. It doesn't matter what you got, So I'm torn between putting the thing there, but then I felt a lot better about it once I was able to utilize the same thing and calibrate it to make it work flawlessly, because it really did. Once I hooked up this unit with this, I was able to go a little under E, which it doesn't go much under E. Like you have to, kill the potentiometer like all the way to get one thickness of the needle below, but it's something below. I would hate it to be on E and the car dies, it runs out of gas. So I had to go in past F, and it worked, and I moved it, and it worked flawlessly. He's like, I had women, put this in. This is Dolphin gauges, by the way. And he sells on eBay, but he doesn't say he sells on eBay. So you think you're dealing with some third-party guys, so you get a little, snippy with them. And if you're from New York and you have my accent, you tell them, no, that's not it. So, you know, when I told him, I said I didn't think it was the problem with the gauges. He said, no, you have to disconnect them. So once I disconnected them and I grounded the gauges, they went all the way full. That's so weird how it won't do it. But again, if it was like push on connectors, you're not going to try to put a jumper wire on top of it. You just unplug it and then you would do it. So these guys, you know, to save money, they put it so you have to put a little, you know, a loop connector, you know, similar to that, and to make it work. So I'm going to do this in real time because I did it about 50 times this morning, and this is just to confirm if this thing is good or bad. Because like I said, I did his whole thing with his gauge that he gives with the kit that doesn't fit this tank, unfortunately, because that's the tank I ended up getting. It's a long story. Anyway, so I don't know how much I can do this holding the phone or what you're going to really see, but ultimately, I got this guy, so looks like you can just about see this. This is not very comfortable for me. Let's see. Yeah, I can't see what you're looking at, but I can tell it's in the frame of view. So basically, how you do is you hold this. This is the full. This is 3/4, half, quarter, empty. Oh yeah, at the end of this, he tells you to hit E and F together. And the other one that says E and F is so where you want the gauge to be when the car is off. He doesn't mention that. He just tells you to do it. But if I do it, the fuel, even with the other one, the fuel never set right. You know, once I put it to high to full, it wouldn't register. So I have eliminated that part because something's wrong. Because both of them do that, by the way. Both of them do that when you hit E and F for some reason. So I don't know if you have to shut the car off and then turn it back on in order to do that. Something along those lines. That's what I'm figuring. Something's weird with that. So I'm not even bothering. I've literally done this 50 times at least in the last 5 hours. And it's been an all-day affair just to do this. So, let's see. Yeah, whole thing looks like it's here. So you basically hold this, the full, keys on. You let go, it turns red. And the gauge, well, right now it's pinned to full because I had started to do this and I said, let me make a video. So I guess I can take that off. So right now I've calibrated it. You turn it to go. Now this guy here, this thing controls the gauge to make it read that. It really has nothing to do with all the stuff being hooked up here, but when you actually hit set, that's when it knows to be that. Now obviously I don't want this to hit any metal underneath, which is the thing, so I'm just going to try to hold it. It's already set to the full position I like. So once you have it set, you just hit the F again, and it blinks, and it saves it. Now, you take the adjustment screwdriver, and you turn the potentiometer, which is this little gold screw here, brass screw, and you turn that until counterclockwise to bring the gauge down. You go to 3/4. It's not like a super duper holding thing. Like you end up passing it half the time, and you gotta go back, and it's a fine line. So right now I have the gauge in 3/4. I'm probably only going to show you this one time, only because, you know, see, 3/4. So I'm going to do that with each one. The exact reason that just happened. I shut off the video accidentally when I was playing with the phone too much. So I'm not going to show it again for the other fuel levels, the half, quarter, and empty. Maybe I'll do it for the empty because I'll show you how much I have to spin it in order to do it. So right now I'm going, oh wait, oh my god. See what happens? Okay. I guess that's 3/4. And I put the setting unit here to my mind's eye. Obviously I'm lifting it up to avoid hitting any ground on the other side. So that's about 3/4. And I got this, so now I hit the 3/4 button. And now I'm going to go to half. And means I take my screw, I back it off until it hits half. It's just about there. And I go half. I hit the half button. Okay, now take the screw, go down to a quarter. Okay, it's on a quarter. I figure out what's basically a quarter here. Alright, and like I said, the microprocessor is supposed to figure out some of this stuff, and it really did work flawlessly, like the guy said, when it came to that stuff. Now, you're gonna watch how many times I'm gonna really hit this screw, like, a lot, because it goes down to E, but like a lot more turns to get to E. It might be done, like it was almost on E. Now it's on E. That's at least 5 or 6 turns there, and it's just getting under E. I guess I'm gonna leave it right there, and I'm gonna hold this up, go to E on this, and then hit the E button, and now I turn it off. So now this should work. But again, I took apart this thing because it was such a crappy Chinese connection, although they use stainless steel, which I doubt it's real stainless steel. I bet you it magnetizes. I'd be shocked. But if it does, anyway, so right now it's on full. So when I put the key on, it should go all the way to full. And that actually looked good. It didn't bounce at all. But here comes the bouncing probably. But no, it's I'm actually controlling this quite well. So that really did help. Now from a distance here, little bump here or there. That's kind of normal. They said it may bump a little, but for the most part, that was it. I don't know if you can see. I should really zoom in. So that's all the way full. Oh, here's the problem. Oh no, maybe I was touching something. See, it's like if I play with this, I don't think I could show both at the same time. I don't know. Even that, like the full sweeps, it just hasn't done it. It's taking a while to go to full, and it's not going to full. This is kind of like what it was doing before. Oh, there we go. I kind of, you know what it is though? I held it. See, that's the other thing, is like, you know, the natural ability of the fluid to hold it up might be a little different, you know. So I'm holding it up with my thumb, but holding the gauge upright. And you see if I go sideways, see if I go all the way to one side, then it goes right where I calibrated it. So I may still try to tweak this a little bit, see if I can get it to work a little better, but we shall see. But ultimately, it's a lot of BS with this, you know, particularly when you're not sure about what gauge you got and whatnot. Since 10 a.m. and now it's 3 o'clock. That's how long it's taken, and it's still not right. See right there, it's on. This is full. The guy says you gotta have a good ground. I have the good ground. I have 10 gauge wire on the ground. I went directly here instead of to the back of the car. And like, I'll get it to read if I start playing with this, you know. But I actually took this thing apart to try to get it to work better. And no matter what I do, it's just not right. All the way full. And if I just turn, I mean, you shouldn't be able to make it go so far off by moving it around. I mean, I didn't have that problem with this one. I hooked this one up just to see, and it's flawless. It goes nicely. Oh, no matter what I do, this adapter doesn't line up, and it's just off by a hair. And it seems like it's supposed to be every 2 is supposed to line up, but it doesn't. And the video is not going to show. This is without the gasket. So it seems like that's the odd one out. And if I do it a different way, this one is the odd one out. See, it's very tight right now going in. I bet you all these will go in. Maybe not now, actually. This one would have to be removed. I don't know. I can't win. It wasn't even the right side. I had to go get different screws. I don't know. I cannot get this thing to fit in. Apparently, that's not the way. There is only one way that's relatively close. And apparently, it's when all of them are on except for this one down here. Nope. I don't know. It almost seems like, I guess that's right, but it's like, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not that good. Thing is, these got to be flush in order to fit the gasket with the other thing. I was threading all of these in by hand. My God, just everything is so fucking tight. Oh my God. There's always something. I got stainless screws. I hope that's no. Look at that. It goes right in. I mean, it seems hard to believe that 1024 to 1032 makes a difference in the hole size. Makes a difference in the hole size, but these are all threading in just beautifully. After all, it is a brand new tank. It should go in like butter. And something tells me I'm going to have to drill out more than one hole. Might have to drill out all 6 holes. Just a hair in order for everything to kind of be in the range. Literally nowhere I can put this to make this work. Even when I think I have it, now I think maybe these 4 might be good, and then these 2 would be off. I'm just curious. If I flip it around, that doesn't work. Hold on a second. I forgot where the hell I was. That's off now. There is a difference of where this goes, but it's like, yeah, it seems like this guy and this guy are actually not on target. Maybe that one is close. So I'm going to do the 4 that I think are lining up. It should go easy, like that one. That one. Nope, already have a problem. Let's try this one. Nope. Nope. And nope. Yeah, so when those 3 Oh, frustrating. Very frustrating. Let me see if I can get something a different. I'm pretty sure this was the closest one. There's only so many you can go because then these are going to be lined up. Because this square has got to be like this, you know. So when I line it up like this, that square should be on the money. Yeah, so the 5 one looks correct. And you can see the square is just like slightly. Oh, I moved it. That's why. So when it's in this general area, that's correct. So I guess whichever one the screw doesn't fit is right. That can't be any. Yeah, because this is in relation. You got 2 on one side and 3 bolts on the other side. The only way it can be is 180 off, which is like literally impossible because there's too tight and then far and then too tight and then far. So like going this way doesn't help you. It lines up those 2, but not the other 4. So let me try this again. I'm just curious what happens when I put it in this one first. What a fucking pain. Let's see. Yeah, so if I fit those 2 going, now these might be out of whack. So it's either I do these 2, which might be more important because it keeps those in line, you know. And then I drill out these 4. That one might be on target. Let me see. Yep. Seems like 3 at a time, depending these 3 or these 3. I think I'm gonna go with this setup here and just drill these out slightly. I mean, that's a big mistake as far as I'm concerned. Don't want to force it. You know, I don't want to force the screws in. Alright, so that's what I gotta do. Drilled it out 1 step bigger and it still didn't work. It's insane. This was one that was known to work. So these 3, I drilled them out, didn't help me. It actually looks like it opened it up more to one side. Holy fucking cow. I wonder if I drill out all 6, what will happen? Like I said, this has got to be in line. So you can't line it up with that. Can't line up these 2. And you can't line up these 2 because that would be, I mean, unless it's the other way around. But then this doesn't line up. Yeah, the only way to do it is the way I had it. This is insane. Nope. This is the way I had it. This is absolutely insane. Now, I don't know what's going to happen if I elongate all the holes, if it's going to really help me or not. I mean, it should. Who would think that those are the right holes, the ones that line up, are the ones that actually drill out. So like I said, I drilled it out. I'd have to drill it out so big just to catch the hole. So if these become bigger and they would cheat a little bit over to that side, but I'm not even sure it's going to cheat enough. I'm going to have to try. So, it doesn't look like it's right after doing all the math and everything, but this is technically higher. So that's set higher, and this is basically even. Then, you know, this can be lowered a little bit too. That can be adjusted, but I want to see how empty is in the tank. And I may lower this guy down more because the all the way up part which I really didn't think about. It does go past, which that's what you need, because this thing here, it goes past the original surface, but then it contacts over here. So that's the benefit of having it longer. The other thing is I can't fit it in the fucking hole. But I don't think it would have mattered, unless it was that much longer, perhaps. But I'm not sure about that, I don't know what this hair is from. It's not from me. I don't have much hair. I think it's like a fiber or something from the duct tape. Anyway, so if it was longer, I might be able to get in. So basically I have to, move everything at the same time with this. So I'm just going to put this through here like this, and then just everything's going to be bolted together at the same time. Hang on a second. Oh, Jesus, what a disaster. I can't even get this on. How is this going to work? My God. Yeah, so it doesn't even matter. I mean, if it was that much longer, I don't think it would have mattered unless it was bent a certain way. Who the fuck would have known this? Oh, this is that terrible because you only have one rod and I cut it. Oh boy, I'm having a hard time getting that in. Not quite sure how I'm going to do this, but I got to make another video. So ultimately, I had to take out the whole rod, put all this up, and then put the rod back in. I just have tape in there because I want to make sure that the baseline thing is done correctly. I'm gathering this should fit now. Oh Jesus, I'm making it go. Holy cow. Now I'm thinking I should have made it longer, apparently. This is terrible. Okay, so I put this back in because this slight bend here made all the difference. And it looks like it's going to be fine. It does touch the bottom of the tank, but because I put the E all the way down, it still hits E down here, I think. I played with it. It's a little crooked right now. I'm going to have to bend it a little bit in favor, but it's also not in the thing all the way. Actually, that looks a lot better. So this is going to be like crimped or something like that. So I'm probably going to use those electrical crimpers to do that and tweak it. But right now I'm going to recalibrate it because what I did is I put it in the thing. I was holding it where now I can kind of bolt it in now that it's all in there. And then I should be able to get it in there, I should say. And what I'm going to do, what I did before, is I flipped over the tank because I got it to work. It was working. I was testing it. But flipping it over, because I made the fuel so high, full, it's this. See, if I put the key on, right now it's reading what it's reading. But if I disconnect it, which I can only do so right here. But when you disconnect, when it has no signal whatsoever, it goes all the way, it pins the full. So you kind of want to make sure that when you're done, the pinning of full is not pinned, because that's a malfunction or no connection. So you want it, so when I flip it over, I want it to read a little bit past full, and that's about it, So I want it to be past full. It's annoying when it's not. So, but I don't want it all the way where I'm really pinning it. The only reason why I really pinned it, because I just figured that it would bottom out before this hits, and now it's going to be fine. So, because it actually got shorter by putting that little bend in there. So I'll be closer to what's right, so I don't see it being a problem. All right, so I'm pretty much ready to put it in. As you can tell, it's on E, and when I lift it up to the top here, it goes all the way, come on, all the way there, which is pretty high. I think that's good. Now, that being said, I thought it pinned out, because when you do the programming, it really pins out. And if you ground it specifically, it pins out all the way. And if you take off the ground, like I just did right here, there's virtually no difference. It's maybe slightly higher. So you see where that is. Hang on a second, let me try to focus in on that. Back off a little bit. Okay, so it's like, hang on. Let's go. Yeah, so it appears to be like right at the center part of the F. And let's see now, sorry, with 2 hands, when I ground it. Now, if I actually, hang on a second, if I actually put it to a ground, yeah, she doesn't do anything. It's already because it's already pinned. So when I put it on the ground, I see it ever so slightly move. Hang on. Okay, so this is with the connection on. Oop, that's on and lifted up to full. And when I remove the ground, it really doesn't move, you know. I have everything else set so nice that I didn't want to mess with it too much, because I did put it back in the tank and I flipped over the tank, and it may not go all the way to the top. So that's why it may, like, if right now I put the ground back on and I go all the way to the top, pins out, and then if I back off just the slightest bit, I think that's really where it is. But it may be like right there. I'm going to take another video, but now I'm going to screw this in because I'm pretty sure it's fine. If I really see anything wrong, then I'm going to bother. But it's really, that's what you want. You want it to go, and then when I'm all the way down, and I really set this as far as I could go, it's just, again, though, I wish I could let me go farther than this, but it's just ever so slightly under full, which is what, you know, under empty. That's what you want. You want to be able to put a couple of dollars in to get up to empty. So like right there, I just barely move it and it moves. But you know that if, at least if you're on E, that you have a little tiny bit of gas, you know, because this thing here does touch the bottom, and I can feel it move when I put it in. So I'm kind of glad I over adjusted it, because it still reads under E when I put it in the tank. So it's very accurate, I want to say. It's just ultimately on the very full side, I wanted it to just not really read, because then you could tell if you have a problem. Because, you know, if you drive for a week on full and say, oh, I'm getting great gas mileage, and you're really not. See, that's all the way full, and it's no difference if I take off the wire. I would have to set it like that. But what I was afraid of is if the float hits the top of the tank, it may be a little bit lower anyway. But I want to take another video. I want to see how it is, instead of, because I was holding it. So I'm going to bolt it in and then flip it over and see how it is. Of course, another problem I had was I had to, you know, do a final assembly of this, and even though I played with it, I must have moved it 90 degrees and it was off. So it wasn't facing where I needed to. I thought this was off. I took this off again, and I realized, no, that's the only way. I go, no. It never ends. So I used this wire that I had originally for that on there with jumpers, and this is exposed wire, so it's not the best, but when I flip it over, it should be, you know, in the right place. So right now, it's under E, where I want it, and I don't know, can I leave my phone here? Probably not. Maybe I can rig something with this roll of tape. No. How about a big wrench of some sort? Maybe this guy will work. Oh yeah. So basically you're going to see me trying to carefully flip this over. Maybe even try to go in the quarter marks as well. So I kind of have it sideways. Okay, now I hear it moving. Did it go all the way? It must have. Now that I'm upside down, it's actually, see, it's not all the way like it was. And I have to disconnect. It might be close. So now I disconnect the wire. Yeah, it actually, it's amazing how it articulates all the way up. So let me try to put this, hang on, I gotta flip it over again. And where was I? So that should make it go back down to E. And I don't know if I can try it, if I can put it 90 degrees, maybe I can swing it. Yeah. So, yeah, so now I go this way. I get it to roughly a quarter. This is roughly a half. And 3/4 might be a little harder, but I think I can do it. Yep. And then Oh, I just heard a hit, and it goes all the way, and it's smooth. That other freaking thing was a piece of junk, or it really doesn't like to work with these electronics, you know. But like I said, the guy who the Dolphin gauges, he said that he has used that with zero issues, and it works flawless. And it does. It actually works very flawless. But I'm using a 0 to 90 gauge on a system that's 0 to 90, but I'm cheating it to go past F and below E. Like I said, in a perfect world, past F, you don't want it to be all the way there, because if you had a problem, but at that point, it doesn't matter. It's full tank anyway. So you would never suspect to put more gas. If anything, you may run out of fuel if there was a problem, because it'll be pinned like that. But as soon as you put gas in there, you know, it'd be an issue, you know. So I'm very happy now. So I can put this freaking tank in, and that's the way this whole setup is going to look. I'm going to unscrew one of those, and I got to put the wire, because I had tape holding it like I had tape holding this one. So I have it screwed to the chassis, and I don't know if I should put a connector just so, you know, the zippy screw stays in the chassis, and then the tape can stay on that. So I might do something like that, where it's a plug-in thing, but the ground is, you know, screwed to the chassis. But I'm happy. I want to re-glue these things back on. I guess this guy is okay, but I had one over there, it came off. I guess I had these in the back too, so somewhere under the car probably. Not a big deal. I don't know how much it's really doing, but it didn't really come off the same tank, so in the end it is what it is. I got to run a vent, and I'm not sure what I'm doing with that, but I'll do something. It just has to be so when you fill it, it lets the air out. But finally something worked. So in that picture, you can see something that looks like this size. There's other shims in there too for different style mini starters. So I believe it goes here, so it actually doesn't come out as far. I think it's coming out too far and engaging. Although I only see this front part here. Now, I'm pretty sure that it comes all the way out, but it's hanging up in here. So I'm not seeing it like bottom out, you know, so it's a little weird. I'm not sure if it's going to work, you know, but it doesn't look bent. It doesn't look, and it just seems unlikely that this is so out of whack. So basically that bearing goes in there, because when it comes out, it spins and comes out. So it'll just be stopped by that shim, and it'll be going against this bearing right here. So I'm hoping that's it. So after all was said and done, I put it up, and I don't see any little mark being made here at all. Granted, it was only a brass screw coming up, but I just decided to cover it with a bunch of duct tape. I feel a little indifferent by putting rubber, because I just don't know how much more room I got. So I'm hoping it just falls right in the center of the highest point there. In the worst case scenario, it can make a hole into the trunk and make a rubber cover actually for it. And this thing looks like it's removable, or was removable. You know, so it looks like it's just like a door that swings open. But I don't know if this hinge part is going to touch the thing. If you try to open it, I got a couple of rubber things here, you know, in the way that I needed to have them, and none on the back because of the angle, this thing here again. So hopefully it'll be fine. Like I said, I bolted the door, and there was no mark, so I didn't expect there to be a problem. But I originally had a piece of tape, and I forgot I had a piece of tape. And I said, you know what, I need like 4 pieces of tape, so I feel a little better about it. So wires broke off on me, so I had to take it out again. Wonderful. In any case, though, this is the time to make those plastic things correct, because all this has got to go back, and if you're not going to make it for me, it's going to be very hard to do all this. And I was hoping you come earlier than Tuesday, to be honest, but I just gave this a rough measurement on the outside. And remember, basically, hang on a sec. I'm going underneath. I got to go on top. So it's like 700, okay? And then you have this notch here, and you have the piece to duplicate the outside. And as far as the depth is concerned, now it's away from it. So we're gonna make a round number here because it probably is a round number. Just that my plastic that I have here is not perfect. So this says 369, and I'm sure another side is smaller. This might be a little wider. Sorry, I'm not filming it very good. 378. Yeah, so 370, 380. I don't know what that ends up being in inches, but something like 5/16 of an inch, is it? I'm not 100% sure. But if you want to do it even, I think we can do it even with 400, although it'll be a little harder. Make it, it doesn't matter. The thinner the better, so I have more nut to catch, okay? My thing was I wanted to be able to see it, but also illuminate this. So the plastic has to come towards the outside. You can tell it doesn't fill the hole properly, but you have this notch. You have the outside diameter here and everything to go up to this point. So if this is, just say it's, what do we say it was? $357, but it was $379. That's what it is. So if you make it $375, I think that would be a good thing. Okay, so $375 depth for this, and then 700 is the outside part. So basically, you're gonna encapsulate this to make it come to the front. So you're gonna see it like more in the hole. It's gonna be very close to being here. Okay, I may have not crushed it as much, and this one might be bigger. I might have been able to catch it better because you can see that hole it was on an angle, and I had to basically cut it out in order to make it. But having something rigid would be just as good. And I think that's why I kind of cut this awkwardly, because it kind of fit in that groove there. But if something was round and solid and actually caught this outside piece, that would be pretty good. So basically, this has got to fit inside of what you got going on. So you can't cover this. It has to be minimum 700. Okay, this is 700 going across. So 375 deep, 700, and then you add your other thing on the outside. As long as 700, I can push this through whatever plastic piece you go. But this, where it mounts, it can't be any more than 375. I would just keep it like that, because I'll catch you at least a couple of threads. Okay. And I may try to make it so I have a quick disconnect that it can actually come out, but it's very hard because the nut has got to go around these wires. And you can see these screws. I don't know how it broke, but apparently that was where my tool wasn't so good. But I got a new one. Found the old one, but ultimately then you got this notch here, and that prevents it from moving. If it prevents it from moving, then it's less likely to come undone as far as the nut is concerned. So I think, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. It's basically you're just building off of this. It should look like this, and then you're filling up the hole and using the notch. And I can tell it's not equal in here. So that notch just comes into this part. So that's another thing to think about. But everything's centered, So I think you can manage, And we'll take it from there, I guess. So this is quite annoying, Mr. Chinese parts. Let's see how to take this out again, because I realized there was something wrong with the circuit. It's on all the time. Oops, sorry. That's on all the time. That's why the starter relay was always grounded, when it's only supposed to ground in park and neutral. But if I hold it like this, it's going to be a little difficult. I'm trying to hold it. So, let's see if this works. Nope. So I'm hitting the button, nothing. Just so happens I had another one. Oops, that was stupid. As you can tell, it's not on. Hang on. Come on. I can tell you right now, everything keeps fighting me. Anyway, see? That's the way it's supposed to work. Beyond me why it just failed out of nowhere. And if this is going to be a continuing trend, hopefully not.